You don't belong in the background of your own life, playing like a secondary character. So many of us are walking through life as though you're a side character or NPC or what they call a non-player character. You're around supporting everybody else's dreams, saying yes to roles that you never really wanted, waiting for permission to lead. Well, that's what you was born for. We shrink oftentimes not because we're unworthy, but because we've been taught to. Think about it. We've been taught to be humble, taught to not rock the boat. Hey, you're doing too much. Don't be too much, just to make other people feel comfortable. But let me ask you this. What happens when your own story passes by you? What happens when you look up one day and realize that you've built a life of quiet accommodation instead of bold alignment to what you're calling and what you feel on the inside? That's what we're getting into today. You don't need to become someone else. How about this? You just need to start being yourself. You need to stop playing small in a story that you were always meant to lead in. Welcome back to the Emmanuel Dr. EG3 podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. EG3. And in this space is where people who are just done shrinking, done second guessing, and ready to walk in bold clarity. We're not trying to chase fame. We're not forcing visibility. We're just saying yes to the fullness of who we really are, even if that is just a little bit messy. So if you've been playing it small, this episode's for you. Let's reclaim the pen to our own story and let's write us back into the place we're supposed to be, that lead role, because it's your story and it deserves your full self. Now, I want to tell you guys about a moment that checked me really on the inside. I remember being a brand new regional supervisor, and I remember being in one of those regional meetings. You know the ones that I'm talking about, the ones where everybody's just throwing the spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks, trying to figure out the next steps of the big project pilot that was going to roll out. And I had a thought. I think it was a good thought. I guess I am a little biased, but I thought it was a good thought. And I remember working like that in my old place, and something that I thought could have added some value, but I can tell you, I felt like the new guy. I felt like I probably shouldn't rock the boat. I felt as though I shouldn't or couldn't speak up. And you know what I did? I didn't speak up. I hesitated. I told myself, I'm sure they've thought of this already. And probably, like I just mentioned, actually had the thoughts of, it's not my place to speak up as the new guy. So I stayed quiet. And several minutes later, as the discussion was evolving, someone else shared an idea that was almost exactly what I was thinking of. Everyone lit up. People were high-fiving. Oh, wow, that's brilliant. Well, maybe the high fives is a little dramatic, but they gave praise, the momentum shifted, and everyone coalesced around that idea. And I just sat there and thought, wow, that could have been me. I wonder what would have happened if I just opened my mouth and shared. How many times have you thought of an idea, thought of a project, thought of something that you wanted to post on social media, and somehow as you're scrolling, and the algorithm puts almost the same exact thing out before you? How many times you've had that idea, and then all of a sudden you saw that infomercial about the thing that you thought of? We've all been there before. And I can tell you, that moment stuck with me. Not because I feel like I lost the credit, but because I realized I wasn't being overlooked. It was because I was playing small. I was choosing to allow myself to be invisible and in rooms that I was supposed to show up in. And if I'm honest, I've done that more times than I would like to admit. Playing that supporting role when I knew I was built for leadership. Knew I was shrinking my voice when I know I needed to speak up. How about this? Toning down my excellence just so that others can feel comfortable and maybe not threatened. That day, that time, I made a decision. No more letting the old voices of self-doubt write my script. No more standing on the sidelines of my own life. So I want to break this down just a little bit more, because sometimes playing small is subtle. It's not always this giant, pun intended, act. It doesn't always look like silence. Sometimes it's merely looking like overcommitting to things that aren't aligned. Saying I'm fine when I know I'm not. or maybe even hiding behind that supportive role because it's easier to support others' dreams rather than chasing my own. So, here are 3 things that I would hope to help call you forward. Number 1, I want you to know that playing small doesn't protect you, it actually imprisons you. We think sometimes retreating back, isolationism, we believe that sometimes shrinking down and protectionist is keeping us safe. But what it's really doing is just keeping us stuck. I think about this quote from Marianne Williamson. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. I used to think that playing small was noble. I used to think that it was humble. But humility is not hiding. Humility is strength under control, not in the absence of strength. So the longer you hide, the heavier your gifts become. Not because they lose value, but because they have no place to land. That desire and hunger that you have on the inside, that insecurity, that restlessness, that's because your gifts are looking for somewhere to go. And look, there are enough haters in the world. You shouldn't be one too. So that voice in your head that keeps saying, who do you think you are? You're not ready yet. That's not wisdom. That's self-rejection. That's you self-sabotaging yourself because it's easier to never try than risk getting out there and trying to be successful. And guess what? And you don't deserve that. Number 2, waiting until you feel you're ready. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, that's just another form of delay and procrastination. A lot of people say, I'll show up when I feel confident, or I'll do that thing once I have it all figured out. But guess what? You're never going to truly feel confident. You're never going to have it all filled out. But confidence that you gain is the result of an action, not a prerequisite for it. You gain that in motion. And research shows that committed actions build confidence more reliably than an internal pep talk or perfectionism ever will. You know those people that you look up to on the interwebs, in your life, on the shows? They didn't wait until they were perfect. They moved. They spoke. They stood up. They took the mantle before they had it all figured out. You've heard those social media stories of a person who just jumped out and leaped out on faith. The only way to walk in purpose is to actually, walk. Not analyze it to death. Not wait for 100% certainty. Get off the interwebs and doing your research and just take that first step. Number 3, your life is a message, so please don't mute it. You, in fact, even you right now, in all of your mess and all of the things that you're figuring it out, you are someone else's blueprint. Whether you know it or not, someone is watching you. What you do, how you show up. They're looking at how you lead, how you love, how you speak, and ultimately how you recover from failure. If you guys who are listening have kids, I'm telling you, they're always watching. People are always watching you too. They're looking on how you show up. So when you play small, they learn from you that it's okay to shrink. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go out there and start performing and trying to win an award for faking it till you make it. What I'm just saying is live in alignment and try. Because when you live from that place, when your values and your actions are in sync and you're doing things with intention and purpose, you give others permission to live that same way. I know that we look at examples and we've thought that leadership is about being braggadocious and bodacious and loud. But true leadership isn't. Leadership is about being true consistently. So here's your challenge. I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. I want you to figure out what areas are you playing small in. Is it your job? Is it your relationships? Are there conversations that you're having with yourself? So this week, what I want you to do is, I want you to do one bold thing. I want you to say what you've been scared to say, respectfully, of course. Start with maybe what you've been putting off and just go do it. Or how about you just stand tall wherever you've been hunched over and your gaze has been looking more down at the floor? I want you to find the self-awareness to catch yourself anytime you start shrinking, you start doubting, or you start tearing yourself down. But remind yourself, there are enough haters in the world. You don't need to be one too. I want you to be on your side. I want you to talk to yourself like someone you love, because, we have this tendency of being really good at giving advice, but not always following it. Now, what I also would like you to do is know that if this resonated with you, don't let this idea fade. Listen to this episode again. Reflect on it. Share it with someone that you know is, in fact, playing small. And if you want help stepping into your gifts and your voice and your purpose, you know where to find me. But here's what I got for you. I want you to remember, there's enough haters in this world. You shouldn't be one. I want you to believe in yourself. How about this? I will believe in you until you believe in yourself. And I don't expect to be waiting too long. And as always, guys, I love you much.